Okay, we're starting with free-to-play games don't have to suck by Nostalgic Gaming. We'll see what they have to say about this. It's got a good dislike so far. It's 12 days old, over 600k views. Free-to-play games don't have to suck.
I don't know if this was worth the download. This is all there is. There's like nothing.
It's hard
Oh,
to
that's
imagine
totally
a
worth.
time when free-to-play games didn't dominate the industry. Yet, back before the days of live services and mobile MMOs, they weren't so accepted by the gaming public. While that's all ancient history now, the discourse surrounding them certainly isn't. Companies are still pushing the boundaries of what players will tolerate.
I mean, there have been plenty of free-to-play games. It's just nobody was searching for them. They weren't high quality. Like some of my favorites, some ones that I had fun with, for example, on the 360, Xbox 360, there was a game called Happy Wars, and later they came out with Happy Dungeons. Those were fun to play. They were free to play and they were fun to play. There was what else was there? Was Dungeon Defenders free to play? No, Dungeon Defenders 2 is free to play. I didn't care for Dungeons Defenders 2 though. Dungeon Defenders 1 was fun. But there have been good free to play games in the past. Shoot, that Doritos Crash Course game. I had fun with friends and my cousin on that. There have been some decent ones in the past. They just weren't like good quality, so nobody really cared about them.
And it's created some of the greediest monsters we've ever seen. But it doesn't have to be this way. Where there is a gold hoarding AAA dragon, there will always be a knight to challenge it. Or in this case, more like a humble indie game hobbit. Before we dive into this video, make sure you subscribe to Nerdstalgia Gaming for more content like this. It doesn't cost anything, unlike a lot of what we're going to be talking about today. If you've gamed at all in the last couple of years, chances are you've dabbled in the free-to-play space.
Oh, absolutely.
It's practically unavoidable. And in some cases, that's great.
Also, free-to-play games are very important, especially for like consoles. Because when I first got my Xbox One, I had two games that I played. Warframe and Smite. Because they were free to play, and that's all I had at the moment. My first month of having an Xbox One was spent playing Warframe and Smite. I met some good friends playing those games too.
Zero cost barrier for entry into gaming is something we should be really excited for. And there are some quality free-to-play games out there.
Oh yeah.
So what's the big deal? Why is this video titled the way it is? Are we just bitter and filled with rage?
Always.
Well, yes, but there's more to it than that. The real issues with modern free-to-play games require a little historical perspective. Luckily, we here at Nerdstalgia Gaming are dusty, decrepit skeletons, so we have first-hand experience.
Okay.
Remember when they first invented chocolate? Sweet chocolate.
Back in the 2000s and early 2010s, the biggest problem people had with the idea of free-to-play games was that gameplay itself would suffer.
Oh yeah.
Building a game around microtransactions means purposefully installing annoying roadblocks to prod players into spending.
Oh, that's still a problem.
We saw our fair share of these types of games. And in fact, we're still seeing a lot of them.
Oh yeah.
They're blatant cash grabs, often with shockingly high in-game price tags. They walk around with the audacity of a mustache-twirling cartoon villain, and they simply don't care whether the gameplay is boring or broken or just plain bad. This was and still is particularly a problem with...
Yeah, that's one of the big problems. It's like, well, this game's free to play. How do we make money? Microtransactions. What if nobody wants to buy microtransactions? That's okay, we'll make them want to buy microtransactions. We'll add fake problems that don't need to be there, that can only be solved by spending money. And that's where the problems come in with free-to-play games right now.
Mobile games like Diablo Immortal.
Oh, that was the worst.
How badly that went down.
Yeah, I'm actually having a terrible time. It seems like the most egregious cash grab ever created.
That's what I like to hear.
But for those of us who don't have phones,
You guys not have phones?
there are still plenty of PC and console
That
games
was
in a similar vein. Halo Infinite's Battle Pass was widely criticized on top of the multiplayer just being
Yeah.
boring. The Sims 4 just went free to play and
My problem with Halo Infinite, the multiplayer sucked in my opinion. Everyone got so sweaty with it. Everybody was so fucking sweaty with it. They would memorize where certain guns would spawn and camp those positions so they always had the good guns. And that just made the game suck. I didn't enjoy it. I played it for like a few days and then stopped. I was just done.
it has been nothing but a buggy mess trying to get you to pay a few $100s for expansion packs.
I spent so much money on Sims 4 getting expansions and stuff. That stuff is so fucking expensive. Each expansion is like buying the game again.
And obviously, these types of games suck. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
Nobody's gotta know.
But the problem most of us didn't see coming back in the before times was much more sneaky and sinister. And it's perfectly represented in a fairly recent trash fire, Overwatch 2.
Oh yeah.
Now, while there's a clear bias in this video, it needs to be said that Overwatch 2 is not a bad game. There's a reason Activision Blizzard could even make the jump to the free-to-play model with the sequel, and that's because Overwatch is hugely popular. They were confident that enough legacy players would cling to the ship and new players would hop aboard. And they were right. Like most people online in 2016,
Overwatch just gets stale, like it doesn't feel different. Every time you play it, it doesn't feel different. You're just playing the same thing.
logged an ungodly amount of hours in the first game and so felt obligated to download this new version. The stylized, brightly colored, fast-paced gameplay is fun, and the best part is that it's basically unhindered by pay-to-win mechanics. With that in mind, it's easy to hand-wave away Overwatch 2's monetization problems. After all, most of the things locked behind a paywall are just cosmetics.
Yeah.
That is, of course, ignoring the fact that they've also soft-locked new heroes behind their battle pass. But the layers to Blizzard's monetization scheme...
That's stupid. To soft lock behind a battle pass. That's stupid.
...are what really make it so dire.
The heroes.
Upon making the switch to free-to-play, Overwatch also made the switch to subpar quality. New skins feel low effort, especially in the case of legendaries for heroes like Kiriko, which keeps the leggings, shoes, gloves, and headpiece from her base outfit. The new
Yeah, that's stupid. That's
collectibles section boasts what amounts to bland poses and a selection of keychains.
That's
the latter
stupid.
Of which gets jammed into Sigma's hand and slapped haphazardly onto Moira and Echo's arm cuffs because there's nowhere else to put them. It's a clear sign of changing times when the optional cosmetics you're paying for have had so little thought put into them. But that's not where the issues stop. For Christmas of 2022, Blizzard found it in their Grinchy hearts.
I heard a lot about that.
Bastion skin for a single Overwatch coin. Reception to this was pretty warm, but the realities of this cheap price are rooted in Scrooge levels of devious greed. See, whether you're earning premium currency or buying it, you get Overwatch coins in even numbers, and everything you can buy in the store is priced at an even number.
Oh,
It just means that players are going to have 9 at the end of their currency total instead of a flat zero they need in order to make any purchases.
That
They'll need to acquire more coins. But don't
that's
worry. Activision Blizzard's
horrible.
CEO is probably whispering in your ear. You don't have to
That's
buy
horrible.
coins. You can grind for them. And yes, Bobby is correct. The game offers about 60 free coins per week if you can grind them out. So if you wanted a legendary skin, it would take you about 17 weeks or a little over 4 months of consistent grinding. Or you could game the system and get even more coins by using Bing and redeeming Microsoft reward points, or grinding through another not-so-free Blizzard game and converting all your in-game World of Warcraft gold to Battle.net store credit? Huh? This is starting to sound more like a job than
Oh
a
yeah.
game. Maybe your best bet is just to buy the coins outright with real money. But let's not forget how much real money you need to spend, because everything in the Overwatch 2 store is frustrating.
Bro, when they had the fucking which fucking what was skins being like $25 fucking dollars, dude? That's too fucking much, man. It's a free to play game. You don't need cosmetics, okay? But the problem with games like Overwatch 2 right now is there's nothing to work towards. You just hop in the games and play. Sure, there's ranked, but you're just hopping in the games to play. In Overwatch 1, playing games would earn you loot boxes. Were loot boxes bad? I would say only because you were able to pay for them with real money. If you weren't able to pay for loot boxes with real money, loot boxes would have been fine. But as I was saying, you would earn loot boxes, so you'd unlock skins, and that'd be something you're working towards. You're unlocking loot boxes. You're getting something every time. Now with Overwatch 2, you just play a game and it's like, oh, okay, you just played a game. It feels the same, but you just played it. You just keep playing it. If there's nothing to work towards, the game gets stale.
Expensive. Originally, legendary skins in Overwatch 2 were priced at around $20. After significant backlash, they've sliced that price in half. Whether that's enough is ultimately up to each individual valued player. But it doesn't change the reality that Overwatch's cosmetics have made headlines for how expensive they are. A favorite example to point is the Pachimari weapon charm, which will set you back 700 Overwatch coins. You can't actually buy just 700 Overwatch coins, so you'll have to buy the closest equivalent, which is 1,000. That's 10 real dollars for a virtual keychain.
Bro, for a fucking virtual...
Hot topic. The logical argument here is that nobody is forcing you to purchase these cosmetics. The game is still fun to play without them. And that's true. You don't have to buy or grind for...
Yeah, you don't have to, but that's part of what makes the game fun, is showing off, hey, look what I got. Making yourself look good the way you want to look, so you're not just another player. Cosmetics are part of the experience. Whether you deny it or not, sure, it's a free-to-play game. You don't need cosmetics, but cosmetics are a part of the experience. If you have cosmetics in your game, that is a part of the experience. So having crazily overpriced cosmetics locks some people out of that bonus experience.
For premium currency. But that is too often used as a shield against valid criticisms of shady business practices, low-quality items, and the further normalization of paywalling content that could have otherwise been obtainable in the game.
Yeah.
And that really sucks.
It does.
But we might as well leave Activision Blizzard to their money-grubbing practices. We can't expect them to do any better. It's a free game. It's not like there's a shining beacon of the free-to-play model they can look at to inspiration, right?
Oh, fuck yeah, Warframe, dude. I fucking love Warframe so much.
The dreamers have awakened.
Enter in Digital Extreme's 2013 game Warframe.
2013, and this game has come so fucking far from where it was. It has come so far. They have added so much more storyline to it. They've added open world areas. They've added spaceship battles. This game is so good. I need to play it more again sometime. I need to play it again sometime.
Inspiring indie dev story. This third-person sci-fi shooter came onto the scene and rose to fame quite quickly, consistently ranking in the top 30 games on the Steam charts even after all these years. And it's
That's props.
Now, a couple of disclaimers. Disclaimer 1. There are other free-to-play games out there that aren't full-on exploitative. Path of Exile and Lost Ark are two stellar examples. Team Fortress 2 and League are hugely successful and have justifiable microtransactions. But Warframe really stands out from the crowd for a few reasons we'll be getting into. And disclaimer 2, it might seem weird to compare a highly customizable shooter with in-depth story quests to Overwatch. They aren't really that similar. Both games
Yeah.
may have PvP, but it's basically an afterthought in one, whereas it's the main focus of
Yeah, Warframe PvP is dog shit. The game is great. The game is great, but their PvP is absolute dog shit. Nobody really plays the PvP. Nobody plays Warframe PvP.
the other. Both games are shooters, though one lets you customize your loadout while the other is static to each hero. Both games are largely instance-based, and yet one is more of an open-ended loot and grind where the other is objective-focused. And that's pretty much it as far as gameplay similarities go. Their biggest similarity, and the one that matters most, is their free-to-play status. And Warframe is the clear winner in that category.
Oh yeah.
First and foremost, everything in Warframe can be worked for, even if the only way to get it is with premium currency. Because
Okay, but see, I have friends who have thousands of platinum without spending a cent on the game. Because there is a player-to-player trading market where you can trade prime parts, which are like legendary version, like parts for legendary versions of weapons and characters that you get from doing special runs. And you can trade those prime parts for platinum, the in-game currency that costs real money. So you don't have to spend a cent on the game. You just have to do a little bit of grinding, but that's what you're doing anyway. And Warframe is a lot of fun. So
platinum can be easily traded between players. This makes for a huge difference in the in-game marketplace, since players with premium currency will often pay other players for various items, rather than just buying something from the game's built-in store page. It's a time-honored trade between money and time, but it feels a lot less predatory here.
Oh yeah.
If you do choose to spend money, the prices are much more fair by contrast. $10 in Warframe, the Ember Starter Pack, will get you 200 of their premium currency, a fully new character, a new weapon, a cosmetic helmet, and a weapons mod pack. You can also get all of that in-game without spending a cent, and it won't take you 4 months of job-like diligence. But the biggest difference...
That'll just take you 3 days to actually build it, because that's the only downside with their model in Warframe, is a Warframe will take you 24 hours to build each part, and then another 3 days to put the part, real time 3 days to put all the parts together into a Warframe. That's the only downside. Of course, you can rush it with platinum, which you can get by selling prime parts, but it's still an annoyance. That doesn't have to be.
Just aren't. The Warframe that launched in 2013 is nowhere near the Warframe that we have today.
Oh yeah,
DE
for sure.
Work not only to tweak the core gameplay experience, but give us hundreds of hours of brand new content.
Oh yeah.
Space battles, combat pets, huge additions to lore, open world gameplay, and so much more have been added in the year since release. And it's all been completely free. Has every update been perfect? No, not even close. But it's clear that the developers over at Digital Extremes really care about its player base and the product they're putting out. Depressingly, that's not a bad move.
I need to get back into this game again.
But DE can, and that's why Warframe is such a perfect example of the free-to-play business model done right.
Because they also released, Warframe also released their new Warframe. Is that really what they... I mean, I guess that's not a bad name. Varuna? Oh yeah, that looks badass. That looks badass. What does she do? Oh, does it not tell you what she does? Oh, there, abilities. Shroud of Dinar increases parkour velocity by 55%, so she'll be fast. Fangs of Raksh grants complete resistances to new status effects. That's nice. Lyceth's Hunt imbues Varuna's melee weapon with an additive 100% heavy attack efficiency, so she's a heavy attacker. And Ulfrin's Descent has Ulfrin die in Varuna's place when she receives lethal damage, preventing bleed out and rendering her invulnerable for 3 seconds and restoring 100% of her shields and health. Nice. Okay, so her ult's a passive. Not an active. But that's still nice. What's her base stats? Does she have armor 190? What was Valkyr's armor? Okay, no, not even close to Valkyr's armor. Valkyr still has the highest armor, base armor in the game. Anyway, back to the video. Path of
microtransactions, doing the barest minimum, and just generally sucking, that doesn't have to be the case. There are still free-to-play games out there worth putting time, effort, and yes, even money into. We as players just have to make it clear that we won't stand for mediocrity, even if it's free. And that's all for today's video. Thanks so much for hanging out.
Unfortunately, any stand like that, any whatever, isn't gonna work because there will always be people with money who don't care and will buy whatever. But yeah, no, that was definitely a good video. Yeah, free to play games are getting way too greedy. A lot of cosmetics cost way too much. Sure, it's a free-to-play game. You don't need cosmetics, but cosmetics are part of the experience, in my opinion. And I think, like, blocking out the people who can't afford that experience is just dumb. Like, $20 for a legendary skin is way too much. Especially when you don't have an easy free way to earn skins. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
From the moment you were born, you always had it all. And I guess someone dropped the ball.